tight a grain as, say, maple or ocean spray and lilac are two of my very favorite woods for carving utensils out of. I have lilac spoons that I carved over a year ago, and they have been through the washing machine over a dozen times, I bet, and they just hold up really well. Alder needs to be kind of touched up every once in a while if you're going to put it through that kind of daily use. But if you're making a mask it's going to hang on a wall or even be worn in a dance or something like that, it holds up pretty well. Looks beautiful with paint on it or not. It'll oxidize just like an apple. If you cut open an apple and it turns that reddish color, alder does the exact same thing, and it turns this really brilliant, beautiful orange color. So I just about got this hollowed out. Bring that in where I cut a little too close to the edge there to give the rim of the bowl some thickness again. And I want to give a little bit more curve to the neck. I have kind of a tall, skinny bush pot that I like to cook in, and it's nice if the spoon has got a little bit more curve in it for scooping out of the bottom of the pot. So it's a cool thing about making your own stuff is you can make your own stuff. You can make it how you want it to be. It's not any little change you want to make, just do it. You got to be careful with the grain in wood. If you haven't carved before, you'll know this. If you've ever carved at all, ever once, you'll know about wood grain and how to follow it. You'll at least know that you do have to follow it. But whenever you're going at a slope to the grain, one way or the other, where that slope kind of bottoms out or peaks, the grain wants to do funny things that are kind of inconvenient. You have to be really mindful in those places. Otherwise you'll split something out or chunk it out or whatever and cause yourself a bunch of grief. That pith mark. Right now I'm using the flat of the blade to plane and find any high points along the edge of the bowl of the spoon, just like I'm using a straight edge in an art project. It's like a measuring device telling me what's standing proud. I'm going to try and leave this pith line right in there just as a little kind of beauty mark, I guess, and hopefully I don't carve through it. I think I'm just getting right into the top there, but something to give it a little bit of character. And I think I've got this is a usable spoon as it is right now, but I want to make it a little bit nicer, so I'm going to go over it one more time and smooth things off a little bit. Put a little hook in the back of it so that it doesn't want to drop into a pot when it's sliding, you know, when you're eating soup and all of a sudden you watch your spoon disappear into a too big of a bowl or a pot. Just going to do a little cleft right there to catch that from happening, and then take off the end here. Another reason to have really sharp knives is because you have a lot more control with them. You're a lot less likely to slip and cut yourself or damage the piece that you're working on. And it leaves a much more beautiful finish to the wood. It leaves a finish that you don't have to sand or do anything to afterwards. You can leave all the beautiful facets of your knife marks there, and they're smooth, and they show the grain of the wood really beautifully. And if you're working with dull tools, it'll leave a dull finish on your whatever you're doing. It doesn't look so good. Okay, clean that out a little bit. Getting there. I'm a bit of a perfectionist if you haven't noticed yet. I get to be any way I want. It's my spoon. Again, I'm cutting with the blade pointed away from me. There's no way I can cut myself like this. It just won't happen. And I'm not straining against the tool or the piece. Okay, now I'm just getting nitpicky. But, or wait, clean out that bowl now that I've rounded out the inside a bit more. That's right. And there you go. Here's a totally functional spoon. Get a couple more pieces off of it there. And about the time it would take to cook a quick pot of stew. You got something to eat it with. Maybe I'll bring it home and finish it off so that it looks nice. It's pretty rough right now, but you can absolutely eat something with that just the way it is. Beautiful little spoon, and I kept that pith mark in there to give it some character. There you have it. Get some wood and start carving.